special prosecutor from the Nebraska Attorney General's office has been requested in the case of a 26-year-old Chadron man charged with intentional child abuse resulting in death. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, 26-year-old Riley Lenhart was taken into custody on Monday following an investigation by the Chadron Police Department after his 10-month-old daughter died while in his care. Court records say that an autopsy shows that the child's death was suspicious in nature and the child had bruising around the neck. On Sunday, the girl was found unresponsive when in Lenhart's care at their home. The girl was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. Lenhart remains in jail on a $750,000 bond with an arraignment set for Wednesday, June 29th in Dawes County Court. Well, fireworks sales start this week, but before any licensed retailers are able to sell, they need to get the green light. That's where Scottsbluff's new fire marshal, Katie Quintana, comes in. This week, she's making sure all licensees are up to date and there are no hazards within the businesses.
Going out to the fireworks buildings, which include permanent stores, as well as tents and any stands and whatever regulations and rules that are required by the state and the city. So we'll be checking, the capacity and what kind of displays that they have and whether or not they have the proper coverage in the building and the proper setup for their tents.
Quintana comes to Scottsbluff from Colorado and replaces former fire marshal Anthony Murphy, who took a similar post in Hastings. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether it is building, buying, or renovating, we have the home loan or home equity line of credit to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and in fact a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance and in retrospect a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Welcome back. The Platte Institute says a recently released IRS study shows that Nebraska is towards the bottom of states when it comes to loss of income due to out-migration during the tax year between 2019 and 2020. Nebraska lost a net of more than 2,300 tax returns to other states, taking nearly $500 million in adjusted gross income out of the state that tax year, the 10th consecutive year of taxpayer and resident loss. Senior policy advisor Michael Lucci told reporters on Thursday there have been two huge changes in recent years, starting with a limit on state and local taxes that can be deducted on federal returns. Nebraska lost the most to Florida and Texas and picked up new residents and taxpayers primarily from surrounding states. Lucci, who works remotely for the Platte Institute out of Texas, says a key for Nebraska becoming more attractive is the promotion of tax and other policies that attract and retain working-age families aged 35 and older, which will also help keep more retirees in the state. Well, dirt cycling enthusiasts from across the country are descending on our region for the Rubidoux Rendezvous, a day of mountain bike rides through the scenery of Scottsbluff and nearby counties. After starting with just the single-length Quick and Dirty several years ago, This year's event includes 4 routes from 25 to 100 miles in length. Race coordinator Aaron Rains says the expansion helps create a sense of community among the participants, and there's a lot going on, even for those not hopping on their bike.
And then Friday at 18th Street Plaza downtown, we'll have our packet pickup and a little vendor expo, some music playing, all that kind of stuff. And then Saturday's a big day out at Five Rocks, and any of that kind of stuff. Even if you're not registered, come check it out. Hop on the website if you want to be a volunteer. There's multiple ways to check things out.
Rain says organizers have worked to make the event more of an experience, especially considering about 90% of the bicyclists are from outside the area, from as far away as the east and west coasts. And Nebraska Attorney General has joined his counterparts in 18 states on calling the U.S. Justice Department to take action regarding attacks on pro-life organizations ahead of a Supreme Court decision that could strike down Roe v. Wade. In a letter sent this week to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, the state attorney general says since the early May leak of a draft decision in the case, charities that support pregnant mothers in need have been firebombed, and pro-life organizations have been attacked almost daily and terrorized. The letter notes that while the attacks have taken place for well over a month, the FBI just recently announced it would begin investigating them. The attorneys general specifically call out the group Jane's Revenge and say the FBI has more than enough resources to track down those carrying out those attacks of violence, which qualify as terrorism under federal law. Well, still ahead, lots going on with your weekend community calendar. We'll take a peek at that right after this.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Welcome to Kelly's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelly's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scotts Bluff. Kelly's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelly's, it's not worth drinking.
I really like how our OB department takes our limited amount of doctors and turns it into a strength. Even though we only have a couple of people, you get to know them well over your entire pregnancy. We have 2 state-of-the-art labor rooms that are new with our last addition. We have a couple of very nice postpartum rooms also right here in the hospital, so they can get as much time with mom and baby as possible.
Logos in Gearing is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees, and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gearing.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Welcome back. It is the FNBO Fridays in the Field. I'm Susan Littlefield, and it's being brought to you by the Great Big Small Bank as we head to the east coast of Nebraska, as it's like to be called, and check out what's happening with the crop since we were here just roughly 6 weeks ago. Quentin Keneally joins us once again, as when we were here last, the crop wasn't even out of the ground. We walked through and saw a few seeds that were getting ready to poke through, that is. But now the crops look absolutely amazing with some wonderful timely rains, and this is the fun time of the year when you get to see the fruition of all the work that you've done. And let's talk about where we're at, because corn was nowhere near out of the ground 6 weeks ago, and it looks amazing.
Right, yeah, we got really lucked out on the corn here. Everything's coming up nice. Corn emergence is great, considering we planted in some drier conditions, but overall, we got little spotty rains here and there, and we're looking pretty solid.
I would say since then, I mean, you've had some decent rains. You had just 30 hundredths earlier. Timely wise, I mean, what are you looking for when you're going to have to put your irrigations out?
Usually aim for around that 4th of July, the week before. We start putting it out, getting everything ready. So it's right around that 4th of July, it seems like it always shuts off. So we get all we can now and then get ready to water here in July.
As we pulled up, we saw the planter back out again, so you've got some replant that you need to do.
Yep, just some little potholes for beans and a little bit of spraying issues here and there, but just emergence isn't real great on the beans, being a little bit later, so we're gonna go get a little bit on the edges and potholes.
Well, Mother Nature hasn't been too nice when it's been to cooler temperatures at night and during the day. It hasn't been the most optimal spring growing conditions as of yet.
Right, yeah, we got lucky. The corn came out of the ground good, but the beans are kind of all over the place. We had a little bit of crust on there, so the little spotty rains kind of helped bust that, and the beans are looking better now, but we still got a little ways to go on those.
Any other struggles you've had with the beginning of this planting season?
I don't think so. It was a smooth planting season. I think we got started April 21st and finished May 23rd on some no-till beans, and they actually worked in pretty good, so they're popping up. And all the beans we planted finished last Tuesday on beans on a little 20 acres of mud, and they're already popping up. So.
And you got, I think what's so unique is, as for our listeners that don't know, you're really right along the Missouri River. So your crops have got a variety of different soil types that you have to plant in. How much adjusting do you have to do in what you're doing in planting these crops?
Yeah, it does a lot of down pressure. We got to watch that, get into the soft areas and the different soils. So watching sand to make sure you're not getting too deep and it covers it up. And then the mud, we just got to kind of push it down in there a little bit and make sure everything's firm. So a little bit of variance, but we've done it long enough, we're kind of getting used to it. You kind of know where the spots are. And
you have a couple of varieties too, because you do have no-till and then you've got some conventional too, correct?
Yes, yeah, mainly conventional tillage, but we're working on a little bit of more no-till, just especially in our sandier areas and spots where we can make it work. I kind of like that no-till and saving fuel right now.
Yeah, no kidding with the price of what that is. But let's talk about that, the process of having two different varieties of fields, and as you start to lean more towards no-till, do you see some of these other fields that have been conventional eventually switching that way as well?
I hope so. If we can get it all comes down to harvest. If you can get everything harvested without rutting up there too, it's a good start. And then just going from there, if the field's looking good coming out of fall and we get everything spread and fertilized, I don't see any reason not to.
Besides fuel savings, what intrigues you about having no-till fields?
That's a good question. They're not quite as pretty as the tillage field because you can make them look like gardens, but it's kind of cool to see that and save hours off the tractor and fuel. So that's probably our perk right now.
But obviously your fields are absolutely gorgeous right now. As we look at the ones just behind us, what are some of your goals for this growing season?
New stuff. I got moisture probes coming out this week, so we're going to start tracking some water usage and see what we need to use, see what it takes through the growing season. So looking forward to that. Little different kind of fertilizer mixes that we're going to try here with some dry and urea. And then other than that, we'll just see how the watering goes.
Well, Quentin, you really embrace technology and what it has to offer. Talk about the moisture probes a little bit more for us.
Yeah, so we're pretty fortunate here. We catch a lot of rain, so any circles we can save with the pivots or running the irrigation pipe, I think it's all for that. And so I think we got to embrace the technology and work with it and put it where we need it. So
I want to talk about the social media aspect of it, because you've been working hard to share this growing season with all the folks that follow you on all different platforms. For you, why do you like to share this story?
It's kind of my therapy at the end of the day. It's fun, and there's a lot of history here, so we can tell our story, and we need just positive influences out there doing it. So if we're not going to do it, somebody else is, and I don't know, why not? I don't know. I don't sit in the stands very good. I like playing out in the game. So
it's a good way to put it. What types of questions have come at you through social media from folks that see you out here planting and running a farm?
Ooh, that's a good one. No, this one's a history one, and I forgot how many years it was, but I don't know. That's a good question. I put it out there, and the questions seems like they're all over the place, but they're usually pretty positive. I think you get a lot of support, and then you get a few naysayers, but the support's usually pretty there. So it's always nice to have somebody in the backfield. So.
And you have a whole group of folks in agriculture that kind of weigh in when you post a video to help answer some of those questions as well.
Yep. Yeah, so it's pretty much just a tight-knit community, and it keeps growing bigger and bigger every year and every growing season, so it's kind of fun. So interacting with people all over the world and showing them what we do here in the East Coast of Nebraska.
Let's look at the next 6 weeks before we're back again. Where do you see these crops and the maturity over the next couple weeks?
I think the corn's going to take off really well, and the beans, they got a little ways to go yet, so we'll see how the canopy goes there. But corn's coming along nice. We're getting everything fertilized, post-sprayed here this week in between rains, and it'll just keep shooting up like it has been. I finally get some warm. I think we were in sweatshirts last time we did this.
And it was raining.
Yeah, and it was raining. We caught a rain last night, but now we're in the sun, and everything's looking pretty spiffy.
All right, well, that's been another edition of the FNBO, Fridays in the Field. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Bro Radio Network.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
Find out what convenient really means at the Western Travel Terminal. Start with our great selection of food and drinks, from for real milkshakes and fresh brewed coffee to snacks and hot food. Next, check out our beer and spirits with their everyday low prices. Finally, let us work for you with our full-service gas station and automatic truck and car wash. All this can be found at 822 South Beltline in Scottsbluff. Western Travel Terminal, your convenient shopping, restaurant, and full-service gas leader.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, the first day of summer is officially in the books, and that means residents will be looking for ways to keep cool. One staple in the community is the Snowy Bus. It made an appearance at Lincoln Heights Elementary School this week to celebrate the last day of summer school.
Today is our last day of summer school, and we're just enjoying letting the kids have a good fun day with our Snowy Bus, and we have our bounce houses, and then different activities for the kids to enjoy.
It's good. The Snowy Bus, it's a snow cone. Like, who doesn't like snow cones?
Snowy Bus operator Tammy Massett has been operating the colorful bus that serves up dozens of flavors of snow cones for more than a decade.
Oregon Trail Days is coming up. I drive the bus around the streets, and I just love doing what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 11 years now.
Massett says she has a busy schedule this summer and plans to be at lots of community events serving up the summer staple. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.